Namaskar. So, as we all know, from 30th of September, 2000 rupees note will not be in circulation. So, if you have 2000 rupees note, you better go and give it to their respective bank. There are lots of rules. Follow all those rules and give it to your respective bank. Now, the question is, why did we discontinue? Oh, forget that. The question is, why did we keep 2000 rupees note in the first place? Why did we introduce 2000 rupees note in the first place? And then the question is, if we have introduced it, why are we removing it now? I mean, are we very sure of what we are doing? That's the question I want to ask. And I could not figure why was this note removed. Was this note removed for an economical reason? Or is there a political reason for it? So I have one of India's foremost economists. I have Dr. Arun Kumar with me. And sir, welcome to my show. And
thank you.
As always, it's such a pleasure talking to you. So, sir, my question, why was this 2000 rupees note removed?
So first, as you said, why was it introduced? It was introduced at the time of demonetization in 2016. But it's not that it was introduced because, of preparation that has been made after 8th November. You don't print a new currency note just at the drop of a hat. You require to design it. You require to have safety features. You require the color combination, etc., etc. So the Ministry of Finance was asked by the RBI in 2015 that the economy has become very big since the time the 1000 rupee note was introduced in early 2000. And we need larger notes. So they wanted permission for introducing notes of rupees 2,000, 5,000 and 10,000. The Ministry of Finance did not agree to the 5,000 and the 10,000 rupee notes proposal, but agrees to the 2,000 rupees notes proposal. So the reason why the rupees 2,000 note was introduced had nothing to do with demonetization. In fact, demonetization was done when these notes were about to come. So the causation is the other way around. The 2,000 rupee notes were required because the transactions in the economy had become larger and they required a larger denomination currency note to carry this out. So when the RBI in its notification says that now the 2,000 rupee notes are not required, that is not at all correct, because 2,000 rupee notes were required in 2015. They were even more required in 2016 and they are today even more required. But the economy has doubled since that time. So in India, we have a large unorganized sector. There are a lot of small traders, there are farmers, who deal in cash. Now, why do people deal in cash? Because that has historical reasons, social reasons, and other habits, that are there. And the unorganized sector is habituated to dealing in cash. So even though we have a lot more UPI, we have a lot more, use of net banking, etc., but that's by the well-off segments, that's by the tech-savvy people. But our unorganized sector continues to use cash. Now, this unorganized sector, as you know, the currency in circulation has increased from 18 lakh crore to now 35 lakh crore, which means that the cash habit is still very large. And in spite of all the technological changes, the UPI, the internet banking, etc., the currency requirement has gone up further. So in other words, this argument that, now the smaller notes can serve the purpose, of course they can serve the purpose, but the point is the convenience for which it was introduced, that will not be there. So there's no reason why you withdraw these 2,000 rupee currency notes. But the government then, not the government, but, the spokesperson for the ruling party, they say that, okay, it'll tackle the black money economy because, you were finding during raids that people had room full of 2,000 rupee notes or 500 rupee notes, etc. So they say it makes it convenient. But the point is, why do people hold cash? There are families which keep money for precautionary purposes. The well-off families may keep 2 lakh, 5 lakh rupees at home because there may be an illness, there may be some other emergency. Now that will be kept in 2,000 rupee notes. So you can say that maybe 1 crore families would keep, say, maybe 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh. So that alone would be 2 lakh crores of rupees. And that's not black. Now, then businessmen, small traders, etc., they would be keeping, farmers would be keeping, that'd be another lakh crores. So most of the 3.6 lakh crore of 2,000 rupee notes would be held for not black economy reasons, but for transactions, for precautionary motive and things like that. So at most 2,000-3,000 people may hold, say, 50 crore or 20 crore of black cash. Now for 2,000-3,000 people, you are doing this. And even then, we know that all this money will come back because there's nobody stopping you from depositing the money. You can deposit 20,000 rupees. You can exchange 20,000 rupees at one time, but you can deposit as much as you like at one time. Okay. So therefore, all the money which might be black, 50-60,000 crores held in 2,000 rupee notes, that's all going to come back. Okay. And those.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You continue.
So all the money is going to come back. Now, the much bigger demonetization that you did in 2016, we know that RBI said 99.3% came back. So this time 100% will come back. So you are not going to be able to tackle the black economy problem by withdrawing these 2,000 rupee notes. Is not going to de-hoard any of the black because that will be exchanged into new 500 rupee notes. But what will it do? It will create shortage of 500 rupee notes because suddenly you have made 10.8% of the currency has been disbanded, So people will now rush to get 500 rupee notes. And when they rush to get 500 rupee notes, they'll withdraw more than they need because there'll be shortages, there'll be lines. So whatever they can withdraw, they'll withdraw. And banks may not be able to have enough to exchange that because suddenly 10.8 crore means 3.6 lakh crores. You cannot print 3.6 lakh crores worth of 500 rupee notes immediately. And so there will be shortages, there'll be lines, there'll be kind of panic, not like in 2016, but nonetheless, there would be panic. And already I'm told panic has set in, many people are finding they're not able to trade with the 2,000 rupee notes. So all this put together will mean that transactions in the unorganized sector will go down, which means that unemployment will result, which means the production there will be cut back. And as it is, the economy was struggling, recovering from the pandemic. So that will create a further problem for the economy.
Sir, then my question is, see, if you wanted to remove 2,000 rupees note, whatever reason is, they had almost 1 year, 1.5 years. I mean, it is not that today they realize that all these black money or whatever are hoarded in 2,000 rupees. Why couldn't they do it silently? Why can't the bank take the notes, not give the issue any more 2,000 rupees note? I guess in a year's time, 1.5 years, we could have easily done it without all of this. That couldn't be.
So you're absolutely right. Already the number of notes which were at peak on March 31, 2018, because after that the printing stopped. And slowly they have come down to almost half, to 3.6 lakh crores. And if you'd instructed the banks that now henceforth you're not going to issue any 2,000 rupee notes, in a few years' time, they would have come down to maybe 2-3% of the total notes in circulation. So it could have been done slowly. And as it was done in, say, 2013-14, when the notes of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, which were printed before 2005, they were demobilized. And then within 1 year, all of them went back to the RBI. So you could have done that exactly now also. You would have just announced that henceforth 2,000 rupee notes will not be issued, but let them continue in circulation also. What does it matter? They would have declined as they've been declining. So it is an unnecessary step. And that's why I say it's not for economic reasons. However, some people say, no, there are economic reasons that liquidity with the banks will go up as the notes are deposited. But my point is that when the notes go, people will take 500 rupee notes and they'll take excess 500 rupee notes because they would be afraid that later on they may not get 500 rupee notes. So therefore, liquidity will actually go down rather than going up. And when liquidity is a problem, then the people who say liquidity will be better and therefore now MSME will be able to get loans or the interest rate will come down. But actually, as I say, liquidity will become less. So none of those advantages will be there. So whatever people are saying are, I think, only just to try and justify this move. But I don't see any justification for this move.
Sir, I want to understand as a layman. Okay, 2,000 rupees note for people who hoards black money or whatever, 2,000 rupees is more convenient. So does that mean that, okay, they will stop hoarding black money just because 2,000 rupees is not there and start, working on digital money and all of that? Is that how it's going to happen? Or people who hoard 2,000 rupees now will start hoarding 500 rupees. And if you take away 500 rupees, you will hoard 100 rupees. So, I mean, the space required would be more, but the habit is it going to change?
No, so that will not happen. As you very rightly say, if I'm earning black income, like say if I'm a doctor, I see 50 patients, I declare 30 but not 50. So the 20 that they pay me, that becomes my black income. And then the savings out of that become my black wealth. So the black wealth generation will continue. And of the black wealth, 1% would be held in cash. So the cash component of the black wealth is very tiny compared to the total size of the black wealth. And therefore, that would be hoarded, as you said, in 500 rupee notes, or in the form of gold, or in the form of dollar, or it will be taken abroad through flight of capital and held there. So there will be any number of ways in which it is done. But the point is that if you find that it is proving to be difficult, and suppose there's a threat that even the 500 rupee note may be demobilized at some point of time in the future, then the credibility of the currency goes down. And when the credibility of the currency goes down, then what will happen is people will shift into gold and into dollar and move their funds abroad. And that will be detrimental to the Indian economy. So I think, this step it does not do anything to check the black income generation or to check black wealth.
That's absolutely correct. Even my second question is related to this. Sir, you see, again, asking you as a layman, sir, is money bad? Is money in economy bad? Because now you're constantly bombarded with these photographs of politicians having 2,000 rupees money, cash coming out of their house and all that. But technically speaking, sir, is money bad? Is cash bad?
No, so cash by itself is not bad, and cash is not something that you eat. Cash is something which you use to circulate the transactions in the economy. So when you slow down the transactions, then the economy suffers, because like you saw during 2016, malls were empty, shops were empty, the wholesale markets for food grains, they were empty. The production could not take place. People are wasting their time standing in queues. I was on Times, they did an interview with me in front of a ATM, and every 15 minutes there'll be a rumor that the notes have been loaded on the ATM machine, and suddenly a line of 50, 60 people would gather, and then after 5 minutes they would all disperse because the notes hadn't come. And like that, people are just wasting their time. So production gets hit by all this. So it's not cash. As I said, to check the black economy, what you require is transparency and accountability. And transparency and accountability of the political class, the business class, of the bureaucracy, the judiciary, the police. For instance, the police charges hafta from all the redi patriwalas, the pavement people, and so on and so forth. Now, all that is a part of the black economy and the black income generation, So rather than ban currency, large notes, small notes, this, that, and the other, what you need to do is bring about accountability in the system. That requires right to information, whistleblower. Whistleblowers will reveal what is happening. A lot of the corruption that has come out is from the whistleblowers. But whistleblowers have been under threat. They've been killed. Many whistleblowers have died. And the government is intent on making the whistleblower bill even less stringent. It's trying to dilute the whistleblower bill. It's also trying to see that the RTI doesn't work properly. The top echelons don't want to come under RTI. But that's the way to go. Yes, there'll be misuse of RTI. There will be misuse of other things. But then all laws get misused. But that doesn't mean that you do not do something to bring about accountability in the system. Why some of the countries have less black income generation than others? And that is because there they have accountability. So in India also, what we require is accountability and transparency in business, in governance, and so on. Then the economy will become more efficient and the economy will do much better. But banning notes, taking them out, demonetization, that is not going to help you check the black income generation.
Sir, this concept of 2,000 rupees still being legal tender, but 2,000 rupees out of circulation. What exactly does that mean?
It is quite meaningless to say it's legal tender, meaning formally, yes, you can still hold the 2,000 rupee note. Like today, if you hold the 1,000 rupee notes or 500 rupee notes that were issued earlier, that's illegal. So holding 2,000 rupee notes is not illegal. You can still go to the shop and offer, but the shopkeeper will not take, because he would then have to go to the bank and deposit those currency notes. So why would he take the extra trouble? And therefore, he would prefer to take in 500 rupee notes or through electronic means. So saying that it remains legal tender means you can own it and you will not be prosecuted. But in the market, it will not be used for transaction. It will not be used for circulation of the economy.
So you can own it, but you can't use it. So why do you own it in the first place?
That's right. Why should you own it? It's like a piece of paper.
Correct. Correct. It's just a piece of paper. Sir, my last question, and that is the question that's the topic of the day. Was this decision a political decision, or was it an economical decision? Is this decision taken keeping 2024 in mind, or was it just an economical decision? What's your expert view?
My view is that the economic points which the government has advanced earlier or now, or what the ruling party spokesperson are advancing, none of them are valid. When the much bigger demonetization of 2016 could not get rid of the black economy, could not get rid of terrorism or counterfeiting, it could not make the economy less cash economy either. Then this smaller demonetization, that's certainly not going to achieve any of those objectives. So therefore, from an economic standpoint, this doesn't make sense. Why was it done? And I can only see the reason being the Karnataka election, the loss there, and the 40% ki sarkara, that slogan seems to have gone down to the public. And the public has been quite oppressed by this corruption at the day-to-day level, where everybody, as I said, whether it be the policeman, whether it be the bureaucracy, whatever dealings you do. Like, for instance, somebody told me recently that they were caught for drunk driving. They went to get their license. After 3 months, they went there and they found they had to bribe it all the way through to get the license back. So what could have cost maybe 2,000-3,000 rupees ended up costing them almost 15,000 rupees to get the license back. Similarly, a taxi driver, a young guy who's a student just a minute. A young student who was driving taxi to make a living so he could take exams. He was telling me that his taxi was confiscated at night by the police because they said that we're not accepting your DigiLocker, all the papers. You must have them in physical one. And then he had to spend 8,000 rupees to get his taxi released. So this kind of corruption at day-to-day level is proliferating. The public is very upset. So I think the ruling party senses that they need to be seen to be taking some steps to check the black income generation. Now, whether it works or not, like last time, people believed that the rich people lost a lot of money, whereas actually they did not. So I think the idea is to create a hawa, to create this hawa that, we are against black income generation, we are for the people, etc. So this is only for hawa. But I think this time it will not work. When 2016, it did not, it worked at that time, but people are now wiser. I don't think it really work at this point of time. So I think the idea is a political idea that we should be seen to be very proactive on the corruption front and things like that. But I don't think one other thing people say is that the opposition's money, in black, that would get confiscated. But you see, last time also people converted all their black money. That's why 99.3% came back. This time, anyway, they'll convert 100% of it. So therefore, no political party is going to lose money. So it's not as if it's going to give benefit to the ruling party in terms of the opposition parties not having money for elections. So it's purely, I think, for a hawa.
Correct. You say, sir, my last question. I think you're getting calls. My last question, sir, is this going to have any impact on our economy? Is this going to have any impact on our GDP?
Yes, because the transactions will be difficult, especially for the unorganized sector, for the farm sector. And as I said, there will be a shortage of currency. So people will have uncertainty in it. And people may shift to dollars, people may shift to gold. So these unproductive investments, they will rise as a result. So I think the economy, which was just barely coming out of the pandemic, is going to receive a setback. Just like in 2016, the economy has received a setback. This time, the impact will not be like in 2016, but nonetheless, there'll be an impact on the economy. And that will mean more unemployment and more problem. As it is, the unemployment was quite high. The poor people are suffering, and their suffering will increase further because they'll hit the unorganized sector very hard.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to us. As always, such an enlightening conversation. Thank you, sir.
All the best. Bye.